Hello again, I am Blunty, and as this video goes up with mere days to go before the newest generation of Pokemon kicks into life in the form of Pokemon Scarlet and Pokemon Violet, and they bring with them one of the longest fan-demanded features ever, and I'm talking basically 2 decades worth of fan demand, well, begging really for Game Freak to come to path with this, because Scarlet and Violet are, of course, as I'd expect pretty much everyone watching this video will already know, the first truly open-world, properly free roam Pokemon games we've ever had. Coming in after the experimental baby steps with Sword and Shield's wild areas and of course Pokemon Legends Arceus' open fields, Game Freak finally had the confidence to deliver in Scarlet and Violet what we've been asking for literally decades, and man, I hope it works. And from what I've been hearing from early impressions and of course the flood of leaks, it seems like it will be a winner in the eyes of the fandom. I am so eager. I've kept my hype under control for so long, but this week, oh, I'm starting to lose the battle against the hype. I'm getting really kind of breathless for it. Bring it on! But before we get rolling proper in some key information you're going to want to know before going into the games this weekend, and this video will be largely spoiler-free, by the way. I'll only be talking about officially confirmed stuff here, but I'm going to do another video diving a little bit deeper into some of the more tantalizing stuff we've heard from leaks and whatnot, so stay tuned and sub and bell for that, etc. But first things first, we do, of course, have to ask you guys to pop a comment in the down below, because I want to know which version you'll be kicking off with. From my anecdotal evidence so far, it seems like Violet is the more popular choice, but let's have a look. And of course, you got to tell me who your starter's going to be. Personally, I'm going with Violet and Fuecoco. Team Croc for life, son. I miss my Totodile so much, so having a little fiery Totodile wannabe, I don't know, seems like a good idea to me. I've also been spoiled on what his final evolution looks like, and I really like it. So let's go with the vital information now. First off the bat, let's talk pre-order and early adopter awards. Now, Nintendo do this pretty much better than everybody else out there, because what would otherwise be gifts for pre-order only buyers, those people who spend their money before the game is out and before the reviews are out, Nintendo just open that up to anyone who buys the game in the first big pile of weeks for at least some of the pre-order stuff. So if you buy Pokemon Scarlet or Violet before February 28th, 2023, so that's a pretty big chungus window of time, you'll be able to redeem a very unique Pikachu. It'll know the move Fly, which of course a Pikachu can't naturally learn in any way and never has been able to. And its special Terra type will be Flying type also, so you can take full advantage of that Fly move and power it up big time. Should be a very interesting little Pikachu to use in battle. Alongside that, different retailers have different item packs for pre-order bonuses of physical editions. So if you get it from Amazon, for example, it gets you a little stack of potions and antidotes and some revives. If you buy it digitally, like I am in the Aussie eShop, there's what they're calling an adventure set, which has potions, full heals, revives, ethers, a rare candy, and even a gold nugget. So that's like $5,000 worth of Pokémon sitting right there right off the bat. And exclusively for those who pre-order through the Pokemon Center, there's a floral print backpack. Not really my style, so I don't mind missing out on that one, but, you know, worth mentioning. So do check with your retailer if you've already pre-ordered to see if and what they've got on offer for that, or have a look around if you've not ordered yet, because some of the physical purchase reward packs do vary in their content between the retailers. Now, somewhat related to that, there's also some bonus stuff if you have save files from other older Pokemon games on your Switch. A couple hours into the game, you'll unlock the ability to put cases on your Rotom phone, and if you have play records from Legends, from Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl, from Sword and Shield, from Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu, or Eevee, you will be able to receive special Rotom phone cases with a design, of course, inspired by the respective games the play records come from. Neat little bonus, and always nice to have a little extra personal flair to choose from. Now, if you are going digital with your purchase, you'll need about 6.6 gigabytes of free space on your Switch for the install. And whether or not you're digital or physical, you'll need an additional 1 gigabyte or so of free space to be able to download the Day 1 patch. And amongst the usual performance and bug fixes Day 1 patches come with, the Day 1 patch is required for online play, so you are going to want it. Now, this doesn't mean the full digital install will necessarily swell to 7.6 gigabytes, because it's a patch. It will overwrite at least some of the existing install data somewhat, but you will need the extra 1 gigabyte free to download the patch in the first place. So if you've got a crammed up SD card on your Switch, it's time to make some choices about what to archive to make room for that to avoid launch day annoyance. Now, like other recent Pokemon games, there's a basic character creation tool when you start your game. This is basically only choosing between two body types, masculine and feminine, and all the proper customization happens on the head. But while by modern RPG standards it's a very basic character creation tool, there's a lot more choice here than you've ever had in previous Pokemon games at least, with eye shape, eye color, eyelashes, mouths, hair, eyebrow shape and eyebrow color, lip color and freckles and beauty marks and all that sort of stuff. And none of this is gender locked, by the way. You've got access to the full suite of everything style-wise, regardless of which body type you chose. So if you chose the boy type and you want some feminine haircuts and lipstick, you can do that, no worries. Choosing body type also sets your pronoun that the NPCs will use to refer to you in-game. And as I understand it, there is no gender-neutral option for that, which is a pity, because more and more games these days are moving towards a more flexible system around that kind of stuff. But, I don't know, maybe next time. As far as I understand it, he, him, she, her are the only options in this game. And you can completely change all of your character customization options at any salon in the game at any time you like. You are not limited to just changing your haircut, hair color, and eye color like you have in the past games that have had basic character creations. Scarlet and Violet are also the first Pokemon games to have a fully fleshed out multiplayer mode, a proper multiplayer mode. Far beyond secret bases, far beyond Let's Go's basic bitch co-op stuff. Here you'll be able to share a single world with 3 other players simultaneously, and all 4 of you are utterly untethered to the others. You don't have to stay close by to one another, you don't have to be doing the same thing. You can stay together and cooperate if you like, that's fine. Or you can just split up and go to the opposite ends of the world if you like. Whatever the heck you want to do, wherever the heck you want to go on the map, wherever you've got access to, you can just go there, regardless of if you're the host or someone visiting. It is, of course, a Nintendo game, so if you want something like voice chat, I would highly suggest, doing the Discord thing or whatever, because, communication, if you're on opposite sides of the world, it's going to be pretty limited if you get anything at all in the game. And I've been told that, again, unlike Pokemon Let's Go, and indeed a lot of other co-op multiplayer games for that matter, if you are visiting someone else's game, you can actually still make saved progress towards your own story mode stuff and goals and the like, which is amazing. So you're not hamstringing yourself, you just want to hang out in someone else's game. You can still progress your own story in their game. And it gets better than that, because this also means that if you join someone who has the opposite game to you, you can freely hunt whatever version exclusive Pokemon you like in their game, unrestricted by what they are doing. So they can be doing their gym challenge, and you can just be in their game sort of hunting for the version exclusives. No longer do you need to rely on trading or breeding to get the version exclusive Pokemon. You can now just hunt them yourself, including shiny hunting. On the subject of shinies in multiplayer, there is a very bit of important information I need to tell you. Pokemon spawns are indeed global and consistent, and not instanced per player. Everybody sees the exact same Pokemon in the exact same spot in the exact same conditions. So if a shiny appears, which you can see on the overworld, by the way, just like how it worked in Let's Go and Arceus, except they apparently don't make a chime noise in this game, so you won't hear them, you'll have to look for them, which is a bit of a problem because a lot of shinies are very, very subtle in the color change. Like Pikachu, for example. Shiny Pikachu is just very slightly darker. So that's going to be slightly frustrating. I hope they patch in a noise or something, quite honestly, just to make it a little bit easier for us. Anyway, if you see a shiny and there's multiple trainers nearby, only one of you can battle and capture it. So I'm sure that won't start any fights between mates. Mine! Mine, 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 mine! I feel like an honor system might need to come into play here between friends, like, whoever is hosting the game gets priority or right of first refusal, or, I don't know. How would you guys deal with that situation? Feel free, start a fight in the comment section and let me know how generous you aren't when it comes to sharing your shinies. Speaking of sharing, he said in a very loose segue to the next part, Pokemon Home compatibility is confirmed, but not until deeper into next year. Much like Arceus and pretty much every other game, it doesn't unlock on day one. They want you to play the game and catch all the Pokemon in the game before you slide in all your other Pokemon you've caught over years past. My guess would be we'll be waiting about 6 months or so from launch, so sadly all your boxed up monsters over there will remain trapped for a while. And even when it does open up, be aware, just like Sword and Shield and Arceus, Violet and Scarlet do not have full national dexes. So not all of your Pokemon will even be able to come across to the game when Pokemon Home does unlock. So only the ones the game is programmed for will be able to be brought in, and as it stands, we do not actually have official word on exactly how many Pokemon that accounts for, or, more importantly, who they are. If you're really curious about that, there is a leak which has the full Pokedex revealed, but I'm not going to discuss that here, of course. As you likely know, there's 3 core story paths in the game: a traditional gym challenge, an adventure facing up to a team of delinquent kids calling themselves Team Star, and a quest to find a series of special Titanic Pokemon and uncover the secret of a mysterious healing herb. You can take on these challenges in any order you like and swap between the story paths at will, so by choosing one, you're not locking yourself out of the others for any given amount of time. You can do a gym, then you can do a Titan, and then you can do some Team Star stuff, or you can do just completely one story path and do the others later if you like. It's all up to you. What will come into play a little bit with that sort of choice is difficulty scaling. It's a bit weird in that you have to kind of mix a open world style with how Pokemon usually works, and that does mean the gyms aren't traditionally gated, but traversal to certain areas will be, depending on which travel mechanics you've unlocked for your ride on Pokemon, so it's a bit wibbly. Additionally, different areas are rated on a difficulty scale from 1 to 12, but there's nothing stopping you from taking an underlevel team into a higher level area, if you've got the traversal options to do so. So the difficulty rating is just kind of a guide, a suggestion, not a hard gate. You can totally wander into a level 60 area with a bunch of level 12 Pokemon if you like, and just get stomped into the ground. It's going to be really interesting to see how all that kind of stuff works in practical terms, because I'm also told that the levels of the gym leaders' Pokemon don't scale. So while you can do them in any order you like, they're level set as well. So it's a bit fuzzy on how exactly that's going to work. Once more, if you want to dive into the leaks and whatnot, that answer is probably out there, but I don't know that yet. And one last thing for today's video, a favorite feature of mine returns also, the surprise trade. Which is of course the ability to pop out any Pokemon from your own boxes and randomly trade it with someone else doing the same thing wherever they are in the world on their own game. I've always found this feature a lot of fun. It's something I've always loved ending my Pokemon live streams over on Twitch with. We keep trading randoms and see how much crap we get back from people sort of sending out Zigzagoons and Starlings and whatnot, until we get lucky with something cool coming back. Then, we can't end the stream until I get something awesome. Some days that takes way longer than others. I've had a couple of streams go like 2 hours longer than they were planned to go because we were waiting to get something cool from the Wonder Trade or Surprise Trade systems. But it is a pretty fun way to get breeding rejects. There's a lot of those going through that system, or otherwise desirable Pokemon that people have been breeding with, trying to get shinies or trying to get perfect stats or something, and they just sort of throw up their rejects on the trading system. It's a pretty easy way to get other starters, for example, another harder to capture Pokemon. I love doing it, so I'm very happy to see that come back again. So, what is your favorite new or changed or returning feature coming back with these games? Let me know in the down below. Meanwhile, thank you very much for making it to the end of the video. Hopefully you found this useful, informative, and or interesting. And thank you as always to the patrons scrolling up above there, whose above and beyond support is always appreciated. I am Blunty. Thank you for watching, and I will catch you next time.